So let's pick up my voice, at least, if not the action, as the example piece I'm going to make, or fragment of a piece I'm going to make, is slow, but there's no excuse for me talking slowly again. So today we're going to be looking a little bit at touchscaper, which has a lot more to it than meets the eye in this video, and it comes from a great developer, Rob Jackson, who also produces Moodscaper, I think, probably amongst many other things that I haven't yet discovered. But today we're doing just touchscaper and part thereof. Okay, so let's crack on. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these other options that I had going in there. First of all, we've already seen the looper thing down here at the bottom left. Sorry, I'm not using a mouse on the iPad, but in the circle there, I'll put some arrows on in a minute. Your little arranger man. One of the things I've done in here to keep things simple is I cut down the chords so that we've only got two chords in use. C major 7, G major 7, and you can obviously do stuff like add, remove, and all sorts of other stuff with them. Not going to get into this area of it right now, so I cut it down deliberately to two chords. You can do arranging across the top with sections. Not doing that either, I'm just doing a loop job. Then we can get rid of him. In the in here on the right, top right, we've got scenes. This is essentially the project, I guess, but this is the one that I'm currently using that I've previously saved. And inside here we've got instruments. Now you'll notice that I'm currently using something preset called Big Bad Bob Moodscaper. If you were to choose that yourself, you won't get exactly the same sound as you hear in this video, and that's because behind the scenes I do have an effect on it, but I'll be saving that kind of thing for another video so as not to over complicate it. If you were going to go and repeat this exercise, get yourself a couple of chords, try it out, and you chose this sound, it won't sound exactly the same. So we'll come back to that on another session. Now in the meantime, we go to this section here. This is the grid thing. Looks complicated, and in fact it probably is without tutorials. There are plenty of tutorials out there. I figured this out anyway for myself. By the time I come to describe it, I've probably forgotten what I did, but you've got options on currently highlighted at the top. You can see I've got touch and swell, so those are the things that I actually touch with my fingers, and that's the effect is swell. There's different effects, random orbiting, different chords, chord 1, chord 2, synth C, randorb, and so on. Again, I'm just in pattern number 1, so it's just going to repeat around. Then on top of that, we've got some drums and we've got some percussion, and you can see as I touch each one of these on the top, it highlights it a little bit further down. I'll put some arrows on. I'm just in the percussion, or rather in the drums. There's across the top here there's a number of options, 808, 909, Lin, etc. This is completely arbitrary for this little example. I just wanted the ones that sounded reasonable without me having to go and really work some drums up and spend hours doing that. So this is the most reasonable for this simple chordal 2-chord piece. Now inside here, which is this grid view that I've selected, it shows the scenes, if you like, the slots, pattern number 1. Down here you can see there's some touch stuff in there, there's some synth stuff in there, there's some percussion stuff in there, and there's some drum stuff in there. Now obviously you can build further scenes or patterns out of this and make a longer piece. That's not the objective of the exercise here. What I want to show you is this dice rotation thing on the left here, and we do that, and then we start to see the significance of how these patterns are. And the most important thing to know is the dice factor. So the dice basically means that when you click any one of these, like say this symbol, 6 means it's going to play every time round this sequence. It's going to play every time 5, 6 of the time randomly, 4, 6 of the time randomly, and so on. So the less the number, the less frequently in the loop that it's going to play and vice versa. So at the moment you'll see I've got a bass drum on the first beat of the bar. That's always going to happen. Halfway along it'll happen roughly 50% of the time. Just towards the end of it, 1 in 3 times, or 2 in 6 times. So I've scattered a couple of things like the occasional clap in there, which is 2 and 3 dotted in there, and on top of that, so we've got some hi-hats closed, hi-hats open. This is really scratch work that I put together really quickly, and added to it a bit more variation in the percussion section with some rim shots that are always there, let's see, what are these short for now? Tambourine, going from the top, tambourines, the cowbells at the top, but it's not appropriate for this. We've got claps, which I'm not using, the whatever those call, those damn things, MAR, the little shaker things with the beads on them. I ought to know, but I can't remember. And the claves, CLV, the 2 beautiful wooden sticks. And I've changed some of those to play less often with the numbers 2, 3, 4 and 5. Touch. And this one is great fun in as much as there's a great degree of variation you can put into this, but it's really quite arbitrary working out what to do with it to get any kind of variation that best suits you. In other words, it's more chance than precision. Certainly is in my case in this example. And I'm just going to play it again shortly and show you without changing the patterns that I've actually got in place here. I'm just going to show you as an example, because these are long extended notes. Probably doesn't make very much difference unless I do something extreme. And what I'm going to do is just put the C7 note at the top there. I'm just going to put that on all the time after a brief play, and you'll see what difference it makes. So I was going to say here we go, but I don't even think we're recording. Let me check. Of course I was recording. If I'd had the good sense to just look to my left at the other screen, I would have seen a recording monitor. So my other screen, I'm surrounded by screens at the moment. So let's get this playing one more time just for a short spell, and then let me just do something obvious in this pattern which is on touch, so that you'll see that there's a persistent high note for in this case as an example, but it could be anything that we wanted to do. Here we go.